Welcome back to Love of One Healing and Transformation. I'm Angela Bolton, and today we're diving deep into Ascension, consciousness expansion, and the path to New Earth with an incredible guest who I'm honored to have today is Laurie McDonald. With almost 30 years of experience, Laurie is a renowned clinical hypnotherapist, consciousness researcher, and Ascension guide, helping thousands unlock their higher awareness and step into their soul's true purpose. Get ready for a powerful conversation about what it means to ascend, how to break free from limiting beliefs, and why love, not fear, is the key to unlocking your highest potential. So let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of Love of One Healing and Transformation podcast, where we talk about all things modalities to help us find the love within ourselves. Today, I have a very special guest, and I'm honored to welcome Laurie McDonald to the podcast today. We're going to be talking about everything Ascension. We're going to get our perspective on Ascension. She's been working for over 30 years on this topic and others that all lead back to Ascension. So I'm going to let her kind of just fill us in right away. We like to dive in on these. And Laurie, welcome again. I think for people that may not know who you are, the work you do, could you just a little bit about yourself and then we'll dive into some of these questions we have about Ascension.
Sure. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist at True Hypnotherapy in Sacramento. Been doing this since about 1994. My research is into consciousness, our ability to expand our consciousness. It's really about understanding the self, knowing yourself, and understanding that the soul that resides within the human is multidimensional in nature, and that there is a process that we take towards human attainment, to higher understanding, towards that consciousness expansion. And it really begins in the human body by really understanding what a human is. And a lot of people have been taught that a human is a person, or it means mankind or people. But in fact, the word hue is the measurement we use to measure the density or saturation of light. We do measure that in what we call hues. Man comes from the word manifestation, which means to come into the physical or to be embodied. And so a human is a light embodied being. Race and gender are subcategories of that definition. And the idea is when you begin to understand what you are, the multidimensional aspect of the soul becomes quite apparent as we can move in and out of the body. And people from the beginning of time have had extraordinary, beautiful experiences that all lead to ascension. And ascension in itself is the path of the soul. And it is indeed chronological. It goes from third, fourth to fifth dimensional consciousness, thinking and understanding. And the way that we begin to rise into that is by becoming the most or highest level of human, which is reaching our human attainment, meaning that we've had a deep dive inside. We've had a good look at everything. And that we're living in the moment and moving forward with a level of mastery over our emotional energy. So we begin to operate under higher frequency emotional energy, which means we're thinking in terms of mass acceptance, of non-judgment, of unconditional love. We express real mercy, actual pity for the plight of another, and we understand our equality. Everyone was born equal. Everybody was born good enough. We all have a fresh start in each life to begin to take those steps. And it's not really about good or bad, as those are conceptualized ideas created by the humans. There's an energy that supersedes that, which is where the light beings live, where other dimensional beings live, and they're continuously imbuing upon the psyche of the humans who are open to this little bits of information that let us look at the synchronicities in our life or let us see why we feel or think this way.
Mhm.
Nothing is to hurt us.
No.
It's all to teach us.
Yeah, to teach us for soul growth. So when people
Mhm.
talk about the term ascension, some people don't really understand that still. Some people think that ascension is only collective, not individual. Or they think that
Mm.
they will physically see some change in the world physically in front of them. And can you maybe enlighten those people that
Yeah.
have that idea of ascension and what your take is?
So I can see that there could be a certain percentage of the population that may have been exposed to information like the Gaia theory or the
Mm-hmm.
hypothesis that states collectively
Mm-hmm.
when the humans reach 10 billion, which we're on track for 2045, 2050.
Yep.
At that point of 10 billion, we create collectively a quanta of energy, which this time will be the inertia or the catalyst that allows the humans to take their next evolutionary step.
Yeah.
So, what does that next step look like?
Mm-hmm.
That looks like ascension.
Mm-hmm.
The earth will look exactly like the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be what it was, but it will be viewed through a higher frequency. Now, at that point, around 2045, 2050, if the humans have done sort of their emotional work,
Right.
there's a collective evolutionary step, and it would be fourth dimensional thinking. But individually, every single second of every single day, we have the opportunity to stand in that energy, to live that energy, and to really understand what fourth dimensional consciousness and thinking mean.
Mm-hmm.
We know what third dimensional consciousness is
Mm-hmm.
because we live that every single day.
We are.
Yeah, it's a dichotomy of duality of, good or bad, up and down, all of these things. In the fourth dimension now, the human has mastered insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not acting out and not having any bad thoughts. It's really about controlling your thoughts, as all humans will be telepathic, which is the evolutionary step
Yep.
at the 10 billion mark. It's been said that the sheath over top of the pineal gland, there's a form of calcification.
Yep.
And where the earth will be in 2045, between 2045 and 2050, on that particular orbitable path, the cosmic energy will dissolve
Mm-hmm.
that sheath and everybody will be restored to some level of natural telepathy, which is exactly fourth dimensional thinking.
Mm-hmm.
All beings in the fourth dimension and above are fully 100% telepathic because they're not. Now, these are light beings, okay?
Right.
I'm not talking about sentient ETs,
Mm-hmm.
which is a different energy and not the same soul path.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the human soul. And in that fourth dimension, that we have instant manifestation of our thought,
Mm-hmm.
which is why
It's nice
if
to
we
be.
had that right now, we'd be causing chaos and harm. Or if you thought, while you're
Mm-hmm.
driving, oh, there's such a, what, this or that, maybe they'd become that or turn into that right before your very eyes. Big
Yeah.
giant car or something.
Yeah, we have to
we
be
have to
careful.
have,
Yeah.
we have to be thoughtful
Mm-hmm.
and it has to be real. Okay. And that level of personal empowerment comes from our ability to be non-judgmental and
Right.
to accept ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
others,
really,
right?
and others. Yeah.
Mhm.
You cannot accept others
If you can't accept yourself.
without judgment, that is, until you can accept yourself without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at everything. I mean, it is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to accept it. You cannot change what you cannot accept. So if you're being this way or that way, if you're dependent on this or someone, if you
Mm-hmm.
require this, simply ask yourself inside using solar plexus exercises. You can begin to ask yourself, what is this showing me? What is this teaching me? Or what is my higher lesson?
Mm-hmm.
You put questions to the consciousness, I can assure you, you'll get answers.
Oh,
If you don't
absolutely.
ask,
Yeah. Then you won't know.
you won't know.
Yeah. what are the key aspects when you talk about people going into releasing judgment of others and stuff? What do they need to shed? What are some of the things that they need to start doing first to kind of shed some of these ideals so they can start ascending themselves into this fourth deified
Yeah,
being?
it's a great question. People are basically deeply wounded
Yeah.
and they are not fully healed from scars of childhood or trauma and other
Hmm.
aspects of their life.
Hmm.
And when we're acting out of a place of being wounded, we're not the authentic self.
Right.
When all aspects of the psyche are integrated, the true self, the authentic self, feels safe enough then and only then
Hmm.
to fully emerge into the world and expect to be loved unconditionally for their perfect imperfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can do that when we can do that with ourselves. We could do it to anybody.
Hmm.
It's a lot of cause and effect, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
people are wounded for a reason.
Yeah.
There's external forces as
Hmm.
well that are creating a negativity and division
Hmm.
and creating infighting,
Yeah.
which is a lowering of energy
Hmm.
across the board.
Hmm.
And we have to really understand ourselves.
Yeah.
When we know ourselves, we can accept our equality, which means that we never ever feel superior or inferior to any being.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
That there's always a way to resonate, to balance energy so that collectively we can either agree to disagree without harm. You can allow everybody's entitled to their experience. You
Of
know, all
course.
roads do lead to a consciousness expansion. The best thing you can do, all roads lead to the top of the mountain. Okay. Remove the boulders in the path for those that follow.
Yeah.
That's all. You don't have
Yeah.
to change anybody. You don't have to make them believe what you believe. You can see that they're on their path and they're entitled to that.
Yeah.
You can move the boulder to make it easier for them. And that's really all you need to do.
Yeah, it's really like staying in our own container and just moving forward on ourselves, but with an understanding that that person and that person and that person is also doing the same thing. And is it true that if we push ourselves onto others to believe in different things, are we also maybe halting their ascension path too, as well? Or is that
Well,
not the case?
everything happens for a reason. And so if we begin to insert or push our beliefs onto somebody, a couple of things are going to happen. That person might rise up
Mm-hmm.
and see, oh, that doesn't resonate with me and reject it and soar on their path. Okay. It might begin to make their truth more relevant.
Yeah, good point.
So there
Yeah.
is that. But now, if a person doesn't know themselves
Uh-huh.
and they are easily influenced and they succumb to somebody else's path, then yeah, we do risk that. And
Uh-huh.
we always want to be conscious
Hmm.
of any harm that we might cause
Yeah.
with higher understanding in the spiritual world, the paranormal, extraterrestrial, interdimensional. It's very important that when we bring information, that we don't want to overwhelm a person's belief system. We have an internal belief system. And if it becomes overwhelmed, we do risk mental instability
Huh.
and people become weak and insecure, or they get angry thinking, I believed this all my life and I was a fool or I was
Mhm.
taken advantage of. Okay.
Mhm.
So we have to be very careful. If they're thinking in terms like that, then
Mhm.
the information really wasn't presented to them in a way that allowed them to accept it or to reject it.
To be safe,
If
to
it's
feel
forced
safe.
on you, say like
Mm.
religion, okay?
Mhm.
I mean, that's force.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
that for a very long time, and that has not been good for the people
No.
because it has diminished their ability because they're stuck in a belief system now, and those belief
Mhm.
systems are very important, especially at death.
Yeah.
They're stuck in a belief system that says that if they're doing good things, it's so that they can go to heaven. And if they
Right.
do bad things,
They
then
go
they
to
risk
hell.
going to hell.
Mhm.
That is a manipulation. That
Yeah.
is a mass manipulation. So any religion that's under the, gods of Abraham or Abrahamic gods,
Mhm.
that those aren't God. Those are low level demigods created by a higher energy. And they acted out in ways that created this duality.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's up to us
Break
to
it.
integrate the aspects of the self
Mhm.
so that we can rise above it. Religion and other forced belief systems cause wars.
Yeah.
Show me one war
Oh,
that we've ever experienced on the planet that didn't have anything to do and their right to religious land or some
yeah,
holy
or
place.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
So
all of it.
obviously you can see that that's very detrimental
Yeah,
for the growth of the soul,
very
right?
much so.
and
Mhm.
and for understanding, and in that case it's not so individual like us one person on one person
It's
telling
not.
someone.
That's a group.
It's a mass manipulation that has deliberately prevented people from becoming empowered
Yeah, I see that all the
because
time.
yeah, they've lost their power. You give your power away to something that you believe in
Yeah.
and it's controlling you. But there's a lot to understand. The word worship originally meant work for,
Mhm.
changes the energy
It's
there completely.
yeah, it does.
And gods are what the humans began to create and name. They never said they were God.
Mm-mm.
And many of the people or entities that descended
Yeah.
in onto the third dimension,
Mm. Bright
they
light.
descended, yeah, to either bring information, and we're the ones that, threw ourselves down, but others that did come manipulated the people and they
Mhm.
liked that energy. And I'm so creative, and so powerful, I can kill
Mhm.
you all. What?
Mhm. But yeah,
Clearly not a god,
clearly
right?
not. Yeah. No.
Clearly. So it's an abuse of power. And if it comes with a threat, that's an abuse of power, not in balance with the truth. And so you can reject that.
Mm.
Anything that threatens you, if you don't do it my way,
Yeah.
you'll be punished in some way. Again, a manipulation.
And yeah. So you mentioned extraterrestrials. I know you do a lot of work with that. There are some people that say that if you've had contact with an extraterrestrial, that it assists with your ascension. Is that true? I mean, I can
Mm.
see some aspects of that. I'm going to do some breaking news here, but not to Lori. She already knows. But when I had contact, I did feel the vibration was extremely powerful. And from that moment on, I felt like my vibration has not necessarily stayed at that level because it was like all the way up here, but it definitely increased, and I felt like I've stayed there, and then that was like a marker for me to then keep going. Do you see that a lot? Because I know you work with a lot of people that have had adoptees or just contact in general, and what is your take on
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. It's very interesting the way we perceive things. We all have our own filters.
Yeah.
And when we're looking at higher energy, we even have a perceived filter of what that might look like.
Mhm.
So
Good
when
point.
we're when our consciousness is confronted with the existence of a non-human being, the critical beta brain has to say, is this real? Is this not real? Is this true? Is it's not true?
Mhm.
When that happens, what we're doing is we are questioning our reality as it
Mhm.
has been taught to us.
Yeah.
Once we begin to question reality or to shake the confines
Yeah.
of realities, shackled the mind of the humans to the earth. Once we break free of that,
Mhm.
absolutely, that contact has expanded your consciousness and
Mhm.
is leading you into a higher vibrational frequency because
Okay.
you broke that
Broke that.
third dimensional belief system and ascended
Mm.
into a higher understanding of non humans who interact with humans.
That's interesting. Which also gets me to I've been doing a little bit of work of with Darius Wright, his work where he wakes up on the other side a lot and travels through. So I've been working a little bit on his work. And I think it's kind of in the similar aspect of what you talked about extraterrestrials when you have a meeting with them or come into contact. When you wake up in your sleep, an out of body experience is what his work is. When you wake up, I did a little bit, but the magnetic force is so powerful, just if it pushed me back, I was like, whoa. But before that happened, I could see guides in my room already. So knowing that they're there, and if people do this work, you will see it yourself. What can we say about that in our ascension process when there's obvious evidence that we're all surrounded all the time?
Mm.
Knowing is even just knowing that we're surrounded by loving beings and guides help us with our ascension because they're helping us, right? Move through our wounding and our
They're
challenges.
helping in a more subtle way,
Mm,
as there are non-interference. Okay.
mm-hmm.
They can help, but here's the thing. A good mother
Uh-huh.
and a good father
Mm-hmm.
allow their child to fall,
Mm,
even if it means scraping their knee.
mm. Good analogy.
So the child can learn that they have the power to stand on their own 2 feet,
Mm-hmm.
to walk, to run, to take flight of the mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the guides on the other side are, first off, don't offer information or help until we created that contact with them
Mm,
and we're asking, then they can help.
mm.
Okay. We have to be very clear and specific in what our needs are. We
Mhm.
can't go about some emotional thing. You're all upset and you have a boyfriend issue. Okay. They're not going to
Yeah.
waste their energy
My son would
on
need that help
helping
for his
something like
girlfriend.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the spirit world being much closer than we think. There are all types of, well, both subtle and gross energies that we
Mhm.
can open ourselves up to. We begin to perceive these and we're able to get answers to what we want. So they're there to help us, but there are different types of guides. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And that's where we have to be very careful. Not everything that is discarnate or outside of a physical body is there to help you.
Mhm.
Look at a ghost for a moment.
Yeah,
Um,
good point.
a ghost just sort of trapped here because they missed the boat
Mhm.
at that time to move on
Yeah.
because of emotional
Mhm.
or drug
Mhm.
or alcohol attachment to the third dimensional reality. All of those things encompass one thing in common, and that's fear.
Fear, yeah. Yep.
So fear, yeah, is going to stop them. But the other side, you've got to be careful who, just because an entity can speak to you doesn't mean they're going to bring you truth. And there are ones that do try to trick you.
Mm.
And so you have to really have that
Discernment.
feeling like you described
Mhm.
of that higher energy. You can really tell that it's love,
Yeah,
and truth. So you really, yeah, use your higher discernment and feel it. And don't just think because you heard a voice in your head
you get all
that it's giving
excited.
you the right answer,
Yeah.
because those voices can come from many sources.
Yeah, which is true because I think in a different episode of Love of One, we discussed where attachments, different energy attachments that have been stuck here due to fear can attach themselves to light beings, light ascended human beings that are here doing the work, and they can attach to their light level of their fourth layer. And
They're trying to hijack the
mhm,
ascension process at that time, and that's
mm,
not going to help. That's not going to work
mhm,
for them either.
mhm,
I mean, there's a lot of hijacking of the ascension, the extraterrestrial phenomena with the hybridization
yeah,
of humalien.
yeah,
There's belief that particular races who don't have the same soul that we have
mhm,
would like very much to hijack that ascension, therefore thinking that if they can create, say, a gray
uh-huh,
and a human, that being, that hybrid will have a soul.
yeah,
And so the Ascension has been, tried to be hijacked on multiple levels. So low level spirit energy, discarnate beings
Mhm.
such as ghosts who
Mhm.
they're not trapped here forever. I don't want to give the wrong
No, they're
impression.
not. Yeah. They're just trying to
Right.
sometimes they're trying to find a faster way out at a certain point if they see that, we're all if they magnetize to that or they see the light from the other side of the veil, is how it's explained to me.
We got to watch the light. Okay. There's more than one type of light, and they happen at different times
Mm,
after death. So,
mm,
and you can be tricked by the light, and that light can rob you
mm.
of your ascension and send you back into a reincarnation. And then
I
you're
see.
reincarnated back into a third dimension
Mm,
because other entities look at the humans as a energy source.
yeah. Like Monsters Inc. Have you seen that movie with your grandchildren? Monsters Inc. Where they
The screaming
yeah, they're
fed
screaming
them.
and they take yeah.
y-
Mhm.
Yes, I did. And I thought, yeah, it's actually very accurate because
Mhm.
archon or energy and other parasitic extraterrestrial energy does attach to the human auric field and feeds off of it. And
Mhm.
we emit huge energy when we're upset or
Yeah.
angry or hurt. And they can't create that negativity, but they can sort of increase it.
Mhm.
Up it up.
Mm,
Okay.
mhm. Yeah.
The world, there's a lot going on out there.
Yeah.
But so it's like when you're asleep and you're dreaming,
Mhm.
you're not thinking that when you're dreaming, oh, I was just awake and I went to bed and I'm having this dream and this is this experience. So much if you die and the soul continues to go, you might not know you died.
Yeah.
If you died in your sleep, if it happened suddenly, if you didn't have the opportunity to process it.
I
Now
see.
the soul is continuing and it doesn't know if it's awake, doesn't know
Uh-huh.
that it's asleep
Uh,
because it's living in a different frequency.
in
It's like
between.
and they don't know.
Mhm.
And so they can get stuck here that way as well.
Mm.
And so, really, that's why it's very important at this time, 21st century forward thinking,
Yeah.
that humans have a very good understanding of what they are. And I don't just mean the light and body being, because it's strictly spiritual. I mean, when we're in the body, we
Mhm.
have to understand the brain waves and how they affect us, how they can be sending messages outside of our conscious awareness, or how they direct our belief system,
But
how they even affect our health.
that's why when everyone in the spiritual realm, or not realm, but in practice says, words are really powerful. Be careful what you say because you can manifest that if you're constantly saying it over and over. And everything is energy. So every thought is an energy that gets out into the Akashic records, and stores itself in that energy. And if you put a lot of emotion into those words, that even amps it even more to where it can circle back around to you.
But humans are extraordinarily powerful
Oh,
to
yeah,
begin with.
very
Okay.
much. Yeah.
We're mass manifestors,
Yes.
we're powerful
More than
creators.
people probably think.
Everything, everything we've created. Okay. We
Mhm.
pulled stone from the earth. We made iron and steel and swords and shields, cars, rocket satellites.
Yeah,
Okay. The crystals in our phone are the same crystals, you know,
yeah,
no, on my mantle.
yeah. Yeah, right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here's a crystal ball behind me.
Yeah, I like that.
um, I love it when the sun hits. It's
Oh, I bet.
amazing. Yeah, I mean, so we're powerful manifestors and we create all of these things. And exactly what hypnotherapy is feeding a particular message
Mhm.
into the subconscious mind so that it manifests into your beta brainwave, your awake reality.
Uh-huh.
And so the subconscious mind is a receiver. That subconscious mind absolutely loves repetition.
Yeah.
So the more it hears something, the more it does it, the more it manifests it. Now, or the faster it manifests. Now, attach a heavy emotion to it and it's spiking
Amplifies.
now. Yeah. And you're really going to manifest. So we can manifest our thought. So it's very important that we learn how to become the architect
Mm-hmm.
of the subconscious mind by creating the template of our actualization or our living reality. So we begin to feed into the subconscious mind. I'm strong, I'm worthy, I'm balanced, I'm loved outside my conscious awareness.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of learning. And you begin to feel that way.
Yeah.
You can tell the mind that I am one with the grand of totality,
Mm-hmm.
and the mind seeks totality.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like that's what mantras
The
are for and songs and,
mantras,
uplift you.
affirmation,
Mm-hmm.
hypnotherapy.
That's why.
Now, the difference between those things
Yep.
and hypnotherapy, that the hypnotherapist has regressed you into that state of reception.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always receptive, but when you're in the alpha brainwave, then you're fully on and it's being really absorbed
Mm.
to quicken or hasten
Yeah.
either changed behavior, beliefs, or health.
Speaking of hypnotherapy, then can you explain how hypnotherapy can help those who are looking to ascend or do a little deeper dive and how that might assist them in their ascension process? Because it's pretty amazing stuff.
Initially, it would be helpful because one of the first things that hypnotherapy does is begin the healing of the chakra system.
Mhm.
And we look at the wounded child, and we know that the inner child who belief system is developed in the early years, not just the belief system about the world, but about
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
their value, their worth, how lovable they are.
Yeah.
If the child was not nourished and not nurtured, guided into their true unfolding,
Hmm.
if it was criticized or wounded, then it's hampered their belief system, dulled
Mm.
the brilliance of the root chakra, and all the emotional energy in that child's life after will be affected.
Right.
So by grounding and healing the inner child, the
Mhm.
root chakra, which is the foundation, you don't want to
Yeah.
build a house on a weak foundation.
No, it'll break.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you get that house built on the clean, healthy root chakra, and then you really are stable,
Mm.
competent, feeling capable,
Powerful.
and there's a sense of adventure and freedom.
Hmm.
And so you can relax, and you can relax and you can trust the process,
Uh-huh.
and the energy rises then up into the sacral
Mm.
chakra, which of course is our creative energy.
Yeah.
And we can give birth to
Uh-huh.
ideas, and we give birth to children.
Uh-huh.
And so all of these things, once we begin to move through all of the chakras into ultimately healing the mind and body,
Hmm.
then it essentially falls into play. And also past life regression
Hmm.
in between life
Uh-huh.
sessions.
Hmm.
And for people who have had already their own spiritual experiences and near death,
Uh-huh.
and you want to remember more, and there's more, and you can't quite get
Get
it
it?
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are times we're able to bring back a little bit more information. Now, that being said, I'm very
Mm.
cautious because I trust the fact that in my own experiences,
Yeah.
and I did learn about fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness, awareness, thinking, and understanding from light beings on the other side,
Uh-huh.
or who knows where they are, to be honest, at this point. Could be
Anywhere.
other side. It's here, it's there, it's
It's
everywhere.
everywhere.
Okay.
We're sitting on it.
I did learn quite a lot um, about fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness and the ascension process. And really, the human has a great opportunity to just take those steps
Mhm.
towards their own personal healing. And as we heal, we begin to have our own internal ascension
Mhm.
and our own Kundalini
Yeah.
awareness begins to rise. And we are open to the idea. And, not everybody goes to the same place.
It's
We're
true.
going to resonate
Yeah.
after life into the areas that serve us. But there is one thing that I do know: the higher or highest beings that I've been enlightened to a certain degree by have allowed me to believe that nothing happens for nothing.
It's true.
And when we look at an opportunity to take steps to our own personal growth,
Yeah.
we grow.
Yeah.
If we look at things that happen to us and you're saying this, why'd that happen to me? Why didn't that happen to me? Why does it always happen to me?
Yeah.
We're creating, it could be any of those whys, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're creating victim energy.
Victimhood. Yep. Hmm.
Yes. And when we're in that victim energy, we're weak
Yeah. It's true.
and we're shaming and we're blaming
Hmm.
others for our problem.
Yeah.
The truth is, once you are an adult,
Hmm.
you have another opportunity for a fresh start
Hmm.
to wipe the slate clean.
Yeah.
You're an adult now. You don't have to be governed by anything that hurt you,
Hmm.
held you back,
Yep.
or didn't believe in you. Okay.
True point.
It's from this moment forward. You take your power back, you accept your equality
Hmm.
because everybody was born equal. We're all good enough. We're going to have enough time to figure it all out.
We always do.
We're going to have enough energy.
Hmm.
We'll have enough food.
Hmm.
We'll have enough sleep
Yep.
because we are enough.
Yeah.
We're good enough.
We are.
Can relax with that
Yeah.
and trust the process. Allow the process to unfold.
Hmm.
If you've been touched in any way by higher energy, that is your clue. You take those steps to learn and let go. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if 10 million people don't believe you or nobody understands, but you know your true self and it is
Yeah.
your authentic self, then you are on the right path.
That's a hard road for us humans to step into without doing the work. That I do know. And even when we're doing the work, it's still sometimes really hard to step into.
It is difficult because we're externalized into the world that we have to look like this, be like that,
No,
make this kind of money.
it's all around.
With the way things are, we have to work hard to pay mortgage payments and car payments and rent and just to feed our families. You
Yeah.
guys will not believe how much my dogs eat.
Yeah. True that.
They eat real food.
Yeah.
It's like feeding men. But no, the world is expensive.
Yeah.
And people have been externalized into that aspect of
Yeah.
the third dimensional reality
For sure.
and not in balance
Yeah.
with their own mind and their own hearts
Yeah.
and their own belief system. We're just go, 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 do this, do this, do that. And it's all outside of the self.
Yeah.
We should be, no, I don't want to say should,
It's
we
recommended.
could be. Yeah, should is a little judgmental. I
It
wouldn't want to
is.
be
Yeah.
like that, but we could take a little bit more time to settle in, and settle down, to just relax, and to become grateful for what we
Gratitude.
do have, to feel that gratitude, to take a moment
Yeah.
and see the beauty of our world, of our friends,
Yeah. Just
of the
slow
people that we
down.
love,
Hmm.
and meditate. Okay.
Yeah.
Just allow the thoughts to come and go. Just sit in meditation, just practice. There's no right way, no wrong way. You don't
That's
have
right.
to sit in the lotus position.
Oh, I think that's what people think most of the time. And I don't have an hour to sit in crisscross applesauce or lotus. And I'm like, but that's such a misconception because that's not just meditation. I mean, sure, you could do that, but that's not all of meditation. You could journal. You could just sit quietly. You could sit quietly with nice hurts going on in the background, music wise. You could just take a walk in nature. You could just stare at the ocean. Like you could just there's lots of different
You could
ways to
walk.
meditate.
There's meditation in motion, which is walking
Yeah.
and breathing. I did sit in I love the crisp.
You can tell I have little kids, yeah.
I did sit in the lotus position for years,
Uh,
sometimes 18 hours a day
mm,
in meditation marathons at the
at
temple
the
with the
temple.
monks.
Mhm.
And it was easy for me then because I was young,
Yeah.
but now I can meditate just sitting in a
Sitting in a
chair
chair.
or wherever I need to. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It could be in the bathtub. It could be a pool. The point is that you just move in so that you can move out.
It's really important to quiet the mind. You find so many things when your mind is quiet.
You'd be surprised what nonsense is happening.
Yeah.
But let it come and let it go.
Hmm.
Just watch it come and go, not paying it any attention. And then begin to really, you'll hear a little vibration. You'll feel that buzz. I
Hmm.
mean, for me, I should say, can't meditate as much as I used to because it always results in an out of body experience.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
at that point, I'm literally out of my body and gone. Okay. Now I'm more able to control that because it's been decades. It used to freak me out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, the first time it started happening, I thought when I was like 29 or 30, and I started meditating when I was 12, and I'm
Uh,
in my 60s now.
yeah.
So it's been a long road of
Long journey.
meditation. Yeah. And when I started having the out of body experiences, I thought, oh, I must be dying. This is practice. I'm practicing leaving my body so that when I do die, I'll know how to leave, which was ridiculous. But
No, I mean, the human mind is, oh my,
that's what I
it's a
thought.
natural experience.
I was like trying to think of a reason why that was happening. Okay. But the
Yeah.
reason actually bring to my awareness
Hmm.
that the consciousness does leave the body
Yeah,
or the soul. We leave the body all the time in sleep with
we
astral
do.
projection.
Always in
With,
sleep. Yeah.
and then I think almost like with remote viewing, even the
Viewers
consciousness
do
is definitely stretched.
stretch outside themselves to do that
Yeah. And I
practice.
think there's still that point of being grounded in the body, but it's stretched where it feels different if I'm remote something, viewing something,
Yeah.
as opposed to, not that I do, not that I do.
I'm still trying to
But I
do
would just,
more, so I get it. Yeah. I kind of like the
well,
experience. It was,
yeah.
yeah, it was eye-opening, I guess you could say.
And the thing is because everything is energy,
Yeah.
we do have the ability to do all of these things,
Hmm.
to remote view, to have out of body experiences, to have lucid dream,
Yeah.
and to have that higher awareness of really what we are and what things look like when we do begin to let go of an old belief system and begin to experience a new freedom,
Yeah.
a new acceptance. It's a very specific freedom
Hmm.
when you say, no, there's something way bigger than all of this. And you begin to see things as forms of manipulation to prevent that ascension, to stop the growth, both individually
Yeah.
and collectively.
Yeah. With my own journey and others that I know that are on their own journey, when you start to dive deep into yourself and fix these wounds and get away from the victimhood of everyone who's wronged you, as you say,
Mhm.
when you start doing the work, things so differently and you can spot that manipulation so much quicker. And you're like, yep, nope, not doing that. You can see where you're giving your power away a lot faster. And then you're like, nope, I take my power back. And you can do that with affirmations too. And it's just such a beautiful, it's a beautiful space to be in as a human. Once you do the work, everything just it just gets easier. I mean, it gets really hard. The
Mhm.
death, rebirth. I just went through another very, very big death and to rebirth, but it's just so rewarding at the end and things just seem to happen faster and more joy seems to come your way. And then wow, I am ascending. Isn't it true that the more we ascend as ourselves, our individuals, the more we're putting out into the collective for the collective to ascend to the new earth in the 2045, 2050 range?
I absolutely believe that's true
Mhm.
because we're emitting those energies in likes attract like.
Yeah.
And so we're sort of sparking that. And the earth right now, we call her Gaia.
Yep.
And the new earth, her name is Aria.
Yep.
And that is a electromusical. aria.
Yeah.
It's a higher octave. We're going to move from a seventh octave understanding to an eight. That's the way to look at ascension. You're going to see colors you might not ever have
Let's
thought
see.
possible.
Gonna be
You're
brighter.
going to hear musical notes that are so sweet and so pure that it can only be the eighth octave and above, which comes when we move into that fourth dimensional thinking.
Yeah.
And those things, they're there. They've been there all along.
All along. You see them when you start doing
It's
the
what
work.
we, yeah, and we can tune into them.
Yeah. It'll be more apparent.
And it's really a great opportunity. I do love being human. I love the human. There are three forms of humans currently on the planet,
Mhm.
and each of them on their own path.
Yeah.
Like the first type of human we have on the planet is very materialistic.
Mhm.
They're very third dimensional. They're all about money
Mhm.
and that level of security. And in their minds, they just haven't leveled up
Mhm.
into a higher spiritual awareness. It's what they vibrate at right now.
Mhm.
And so that's just their starting point.
Mm.
The second type of human is what they call psychic, and it doesn't have anything to do with our psychic ability. It has to do with their open-mindedness towards the spiritual world.
Mhm.
And that's your in,
Mm.
because that allows you to continue to learn and grow. And then the
Yeah.
third type of human that is currently on the planet are those who are very experienced. They came here already aware, already knowing. They're going to understand the different levels of being, and that no, they're not different. They're just different
The
frequencies.
frequencies. Yeah.
They're all leveling up to a higher. We're just starting at different places. But that third
Yeah.
type of human is the rarer form of human, and they're more enlightened. They're born aware, and they're here to have podcasts like yourself, or to
Say it out.
or to
Yeah.
and to bring messages.
Yeah.
And we know what messengers are. We call
Yes.
them angels.
Yeah.
And they bring messages, and they do that. So there are those people
Mhm.
who have that higher frequency. They're here for a reason.
Yep.
And that reason is to allow them to vibe everybody up,
Yeah.
because they're coming from a place of experience or truth.
Yep.
And they're gonna, speak another language,
Like light language. Yeah.
like light language that they used to call angel language. They sometimes call tongue,
Yep.
which was similar.
It was similar, but now
And
it's a little
yes,
different. Yeah. Yeah.
it is quite a bit different now. Okay, but it was all within that same level of language. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's coming from a frequency.
Yeah. That's what they say. New Earth is not necessarily a physically new planet. It's just a new frequency.
So
To
it's
attain.
the same planet. It'll look just like this.
It'll be brighter, but
It'll
it'll be
it's a little
yeah.
shinier.
It's a
Okay,
little shinier, a little brighter, a lot more joyous.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people will be. The sun is like eking in on me over here,
A little brighter.
which is a little brighter, and here comes the sun. It's been raining, so we're really happy to see that. But no, the newer will be that collective understanding. No, it'll also be when we will be at a level to compete
Yeah.
and interact on a galactic level.
Yep. We'll have contact.
So there'll be that disclosure
Yeah.
en masse, I guess.
Yep. That's true. And we'll all be comfortable at that time.
Yes, and we do have to wait. Because like I said, those three types of humans, that first type of human, they're the less likely to have a more wider belief system.
Mhm.
Their belief system will be very tight.
Yes.
If it wasn't written in a book or told by, then it
Or-
just doesn't exist to them, which means that they are just not thinking on their own. We have to learn the difference between what we are taught
Mhm.
and what we thought.
Oh,
We have to understand our thought, and our thoughts, like our words,
Yeah.
are extremely powerful.
they're
They
just
have
as
emission.
powerful.
Yeah. Oh, when I hook up somebody to an EEG machine to monitor their brain waves,
Uh-huh.
put it onto a graph so that we can read it on a tablet. It used to be on paper. It's on a tablet now.
Innovation.
But when that's not being redirected, those emissions are going out into the universe, to the multiverse, and they will be attracted to like energy. And so we basically have consciousness cloud that when we resonate with that energy, we can pull from that and grow from it. It helps feed us.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Wow. What a lot of information, Laurie. It's all amazing. I hope we didn't lose anyone in the process. Thank you for all this amazing information. Is there one extra piece of wisdom that you'd like to share before we go today?
Really, it is, if you have one thing to do in this life, it's to understand love and fear.
Yeah.
If you can understand the dualistic nature within both love and fear, you're going to really help elevate yourself into those higher awarenesses. Love, you can love others, but we have to be extremely vulnerable to be loved.
That's true.
We don't want to create fear, and we don't want to be making decisions on fear.
No.
So if we can begin to master both love and fear, we're going to increase that vibration naturally.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's really about love at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And love is, it's really easy. You just give it a try.
Yeah, that's right. Love yourself. Just give it a try. Thank you so much again. What a pleasure and an honor to have you on today.
Thank you.
Let's keep spreading the word to assist everyone in their ascension process so we could get to that new earth.
I'm waiting. Thank you. It's really been a pleasure. I'm really happy to have been able to share.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible conversation with Laurie McDonald about Ascension. If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to explore your own Ascension journey, you can connect with Laurie at trueyouhypnotherapy.com. Her work in hypnotherapy, consciousness expansion, and personal transformation has guided so many people on their path to self-remembering. If you love this episode as much as I did, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone on their own journey of awakening. Until next time, keep stepping into your light and aligning with the love of one.